Superintendent Hogan, and to you and Principal Riemann, the school board. I want to say that I just want to thank all of those here at West Hempstead High School, from Mr. Riemann and the assistant principals to the teachers and the staff, all the way down to those who keep the place clean late at night. You do a great job, and you have made West Hempstead not only one of the best high schools in Long Island, but in our state of New York. So, job well done. Well, it's my true honor to address the members of the dais, family and friends of the graduates, but most of all, you, the class of 2013 West Hempstead. My class gift. Most of the class is going to college. And, as you know, it's hard to pay for college. If you're poor, the federal government helps you out. That's a good thing. But what about the middle class? So, a few years ago, I wrote a law that says that whoever pays for college, whether it's you or your parents, can take a full tax credit of $2,500 off their federal taxes to help defray the cost of tuition for every year for every child in college, provided, you know, there's always a provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So, those of you who come from families that make below $200,000, make sure mom or dad takes that credit. Last year, about a quarter of all the people who were entitled to it didn't, because it's relatively new and it's a lot of money, $2,500 a year. Now, what happens if you come from a family that makes above $200,000? God bless you. I'd like to say a word to the moms and dads. I know how you feel. It was just a few years ago, my wife Iris and I sat just where you did, watched our last daughter, Jessica, come up on the stage and get her diploma. And you know, it was one of the greatest days of our life, because moms, dads, when you see your daughters and sons get that diploma, they become an adult before your very eyes, and they never could have gotten there without you. So to the moms and dads, congratulations, good job. I flew in from Washington to MacArthur Airport over in Iceland. When I got off the plane, there were about 45 veterans, all from different parts of Long Island, some from this area, who were waiting with a family to greet a young man who came off the plane. He was a typical Long Islander, and he was serving his country. He had just gotten back from his tour of duty in Afghanistan. He was a Marine. His name was Joey Moe. And I felt so good seeing his family reunited and the veterans coming to greet him, because here on Long Island we care about that. So let's have a round of applause for all the young men and young women around the country preserving our freedom. Thank you, and all of you. Okay, so to this great class at West Hempstead 2013, you know, you're graduating with two big advantages. The first is, as I mentioned, you've gotten a great education. The education at West Hempstead High School is a lot better than in most high schools throughout the country. So that gives you a little bit of a leg up educationally. And second, you're the first generation to grow up amidst all this technology. In 1988, a few years before most of you were born, that was the first year the word internet was ever used in print. There was no text messaging and no email and no Facebook and no Google and no Twitter, no LOL. In 1994, a year many of you were born, there were 12 websites on the World Wide Web. That's it, 12. Now there are 14 billion. That shows you how quickly technology is changing our world. And you know, graduates, your parents, your teachers, me, the older generation, We try to get used to this technology, but it's hard for us. We're learning it as adults. But you were born into it. Technology is to you as water is to a fish. You've been swimming in it your whole life. So the fact that you've gotten a great education here at West Hempstead, and the fact that you're the first generation to grow up totally immersed in this technology means one thing. It means you have tremendous opportunity. Now is the time, if there was ever a time, to figure out what your dream is, even if it's going to be hard. Reach high for it. Then reach deep down inside yourself. See what you're made of. See if you can achieve that dream. My advice to the class of 2013 is very simple. Go for it. Sometimes you'll make the wrong choice, but if my experience is any indication, you'll pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move forward. But if you make the right choice, a lot of hard work, a little luck, and some prayer, your life will be enriched forever. Now, I learned these choices myself. When I was seated at college graduation, as many of you will be a few years from now, I learned that I had won a scholarship. Travel all around the world, all expenses paid for a whole year. For me, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. I had never been out of the country before. But at the same time, I had met a girl, and I fell in love. I had to decide, do I go around the world on the all-expense-paid scholarship for a whole year? Or do I stay home with the girl? Yeah, I stayed home with the girl. Don't clap yet, the story continues. That summer she went on a brief vacation and I went to the airport to meet her on her return. As soon as she got off the plane, I saw by the look on her face, something was the matter. She dumped me by Labor Day. There I was, no scholarship, no trip around the world, no girl. I said to myself, what a loser you are. You are never going to make anything of yourself. But somehow I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and a few years later I found myself seated at graduation once again, this time from law school. But on the way home from law school, I told Mom and Dad I wasn't going to join like the fancy law firm like we had planned. I told them my dream was politics. I wanted to run for office, even though the chances of winning were a long shot. My parents were shocked. My mother was particularly disappointed. You see, they struggled to send me to college and law school. My dad was an exterminator, not much education, we never made much money. And this law firm was paying $400 a week, which in those days was more money than my family had ever seen. But my dream was to run for office. And so that fall, at the age of 23, I ran for the New York State Assembly, and I had 3 opponents. There was the party machine candidate, there was a neighborhood activist, and then there was my mother, who was telling all her friends not to vote for me. So as she said, I get this dumb idea of being a politician out of my big, thick head. Well, graduates, a few years earlier, I didn't get that girl. But that November, I won the election. So, to this great class, West Hempstead 2013, congratulations. Good luck.